What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy FlippinStoop. I hope you guys had a great Monday. Today, well, actually, this clip, I already made a video earlier, but this clip, guys, I want to talk about what motivates you. What drives you to resell? What is, I talked about anger yesterday, and a couple of people kind of got, like, how can you turn anger into positivity? Well, I think you got a short mind if you can't see how anger could turn somebody into positivity. So, what really motivates you while you're reselling? And I'm not talking about motivating you when things are going good, right? When your bank account's starting to overflow with money, it's easy to get motivated, right? But your first few months or whatever, or maybe even your first year of reselling on eBay, you're not going to hit markers where you're just feeling so high and great about the money income that's coming in your bank. I mean, you definitely can make substantial growth within a year. You most definitely can. And we have done that through this group within this past 10 months. A ridiculous amount. But there's going to be days where you're just not motivated. Whether it's you're not feeling good, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you feel like you're listing items for nothing. I know I'm not the only one that's felt that way before. And so you got to ask yourself, what is motivating you to do what you're doing? Remember what you used to not like doing. Maybe you got to remember going to work all week long and then getting your paycheck, and then before you even got your paycheck, it was spent, right? Maybe that will motivate you to push forward, to realize that you're worth so much more. Because I think you got to find your self-value. I don't think, I know you do. You have to look into yourself and realize that you really are worth more money than, I don't care where you're working at. I don't care if you're making $1,000 a week. You can make way more than that on eBay. But what do you feel your value that? Like, my value system was low on myself for 20 plus years, guys. I didn't feel like I deserved anything more than $400 or $500, or to live in an apartment, or to hitchhike around from one person to the next person, not even own my own vehicle. I went almost 20 years without my own vehicle, guys, and that's not fun. So you have to find your value, find the value within yourself. And then as you're coming up to them days where you're not wanting to list, you're not wanting to resell, you got to ask yourself, do you want another day like you had those 20 years, like, for example, for me, the 20 years I went without an automobile? Do I want to have another one of them days? That's the worst feeling in the world, being a grown adult, having to rely on other people for transportation. And that's just one scenario. Maybe some of you guys can't pay your electric bill. Maybe some of you guys can't pay your mortgage. Maybe some of you guys, whatever it might be, or you can pay it, but you look like you're living good because your house is all big and nice and your cars are nice. But really, at the end of the week, your entire paycheck is going into those bills. I had to use the anger I was accumulating over 25 years of busting my ass for nickels and dimes. I had to use that anger and use that for motivation on reselling every single day to keep going. 'Cause you guys, there has been numerous times I wanted to walk away from reselling. More times than I can count. I can't even count that high on my hands and toes, But it's not those thoughts you have, it's what do you actually act on. You're not going to easily say that, hell with reselling right now, and I could go pick up a job anywhere, and they would hire me. And then I wait for 2 weeks, and then I get my first paycheck and probably throw up. This is something where you really got to ask yourself what you're worth and what's your why. Why are you doing it? What is your big reason of reselling? If maybe you are set off with income. Maybe you were fortunate enough and somebody landed you a big inheritance or something, I don't know, and you're just looking for a hobby. That'd be cool too. It can be a cool hobby. So yeah, what is your reasoning to do this? Ask yourself that, because I think it's very important. Because if you don't have a strong enough reasoning why, you're going to have a lot of days where you don't want to do it, and then you're just not going to do it because your why is not strong enough. Like, if you have it made and everything's handed to you, and you got a silver platter to eat off of every single night, you might not have a strong enough why to do it, right? The most people I study and do research on that have become millionaires from nothing, what they use is their anger of where they were at, and they changed their choices in life, and that's where it got them to where they got going. In the beginning, reselling, of course, was addicting for me, guys. It was exciting and it was addicting. But then there became a point where I'm like, man, I'm putting an awful lot of work in and I'm getting paid very little. And I think everybody goes through that with reselling. I don't think I'm alone there. So you're going to get, what are you going to do to get through that point? That's the painful point. That's the painful point, I believe, of reselling, is getting to that point where you're just like, you're actually losing energy to be reselling because you're not seeing any reward. That's a very hard hurdle to get through, but it's very possible. I made it through it. You can make it through it. You just got to remember the light at the end of the tunnel. It is going to change. If you list every single day, I guarantee you, within due time, it'll be worth every single ounce of your energy you put into it. The days you wanted to and the days you didn't. There's some mornings I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning listing, guys. There's sometimes I'm done by 9. It doesn't matter. My day, I don't have a straight up set schedule. I know when I do got to start because I know about how long it takes me to get my 35 items in. But there's times I work around the clock, maybe at noon or at midnight. I still have an abundance of energy. So I get a jump start on my day the next day. So I'll work another 2 to 3 hours over. These are the things you're going to have to ask yourself. Are you going to be willing to do things like this to get progress on eBay? Because it's not if. The majority of us are used to a 9 to 5. And let me clear something up really quick. I am not bashing anybody ever that works a 9 to 5. I know deep down inside there are some people that love doing what they do for a living and they get paid well. Okay, I totally get it, and that's you. My thing about leaving a 9 to 5, this is what I'm cut from. This is my story, right, that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your story, that your story paying you $100,000 a year, you can make more, get more, you know. If you're good with that, you're good with it, and I'm happy for you, right? You don't have to be anything more than that, right? And that's awesome. That's why everybody's different. But there's always been something in the back of my mind. Every company I ever worked for, I would look back at the boss and be like, why can't I do what he's doing? I always had that in my mind. Why can I not do what that guy's doing and he's making, or girl, and they're making, $500,000 a year or 100, or $1 million a year. Why can't I do what they're doing? You can do what they're doing. You can. You're just going to fail a whole bunch of times before you get there. That's all it is. People don't like to fail. Like, you lose in sports or something like that and your couch gets down. Actually, a good couch don't get down on you. Or you get down on yourself. And the greatest thing is changing that attitude is, okay, we lost the game. All right, let's study how it went and where we went wrong so we can grow from that the next game. That's how failure should be looked at. I've had many failures throughout our business. I've had one complete business go completely heads up, feet up, and it's dead now. And I learned a lot from that. I learned, for me, don't sell all over the place. Pick a niche, stick with it, and learn it, and you'll get real efficient with it, and then it becomes like second nature. Pretty much, if I didn't have to see, I could list the items I got to list with my eyes closed, but of course you got to see what you're typing. But the truth is, guys, this doesn't take you don't got to be a brainiac. You don't got to be some 4.0 student, and you don't got to have a 12-year doctoral degree to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay at all. You just really don't. You know what you got to have? Your hands, and you got to be willing to put the work in every day. That is literally the only thing you need. But Justin, I don't know what to buy. You'll figure it out. You're eventually going to figure that shit out. Go through the ups and downs and the failures and the mess ups long enough, and pretty soon you're like, okay, I'm not buying them jeans anymore. Those don't sell, right? Those don't sell for me. So you skip right over them and you go to the ones that do sell and you get them, or whatever it is you sell. So my strong suggestion is figure out your motivation of why you're doing this. Most people, 90% of people I talk to about reselling is they want to get away from their 9 to 5. This is why I talk about the 9 to 5 life a lot, guys, because I've worked literally probably 30 some jobs in my lifetime. And it's not that I disliked all 30, I disliked my income. The majority of jobs, if they would have said, hey, here's $100,000 a year, I'd probably still be there. I probably wouldn't be making these videos. I'd probably be all right on that. You know what I mean? But they use you. Literally, and you know that. You know that as you're going to work, they don't give two shits whether you're eating or not. You're getting your paycheck at the end of the week, and that is their responsibility to you, and that is their only responsibility to you. And I don't feel like me giving a third of my life away to a company, because if you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you are giving a third of your life, 1/3 of your life to that company, right? And they're going to pay you $400 for a third of your life. Your life is irreplaceable. You cannot replace the third of my life that I gave to that company. And you're trying to replace it with $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000. It don't add up to me, guys. That don't make sense to me. So, and people are like, that's just the way it is. No, it don't have to be that way. Not today's day and age. Maybe when I was growing up, and then technology was starting to take off when I was younger. If I wouldn't have been as much into partying and hanging out with the women and partying every weekend with the guys, I'd probably be somewhere way further than I am now, because AOL started coming out when I was in grade school and things like that. So, with the technology today, that's just not the way it has to be. You are choosing for that. Well, all my people in my family worked at General Motors, and that's all there is. No, there isn't. No, it's not. And I thought like that too. I thought, well, I didn't get into GM, so I'm not going to be able to be successful. I didn't get into General Motors like my dad did, so I'm not going to be able to provide for my significant other the way he did, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But the truth is, that's not true at all. That's a false imagination that you made up in your own mind because that's all you've seen in your household. Whatever you've seen in your household, if your father's a doctor and your mother's an anesthesiologist or whatever else, you're going to think that's the route to go. I mean, you're going to see how they're living. You're going to be like, yeah, I want that, so I'm going to go to school to be that. But that's not the only way to make decent and good money anymore, is be a doctor or a lawyer or, whatever field in your area makes good money. There's many different ways to make good money, and eBay is definitely one of them. eBay, if I was down here like 10 straight hours a day listing items, I could see $250,000 in the next year or two. Easy. Like that's just me. That's me by myself. And people say that's not possible. Well, Tech and Sports did it by himself. He had $1 million in sales on eBay himself with hiring nobody else. He did it on himself, and it didn't take him that long to get there. So it is and all he sells is clothes. So it is very possible. I'm not saying he don't have a couple different items on his store, because I believe he does. I don't stalk people's stores because I know what it does for their click-through rate, so I don't do that. I just take their word for it, right? That's fine if you want to check my store out, but I don't give my name out because it does affect your click-through rate, which then affects the amount of traffic you get. So I don't put my store out there like that. I'll show you guys the clip and everything every once in a while of what our numbers are looking like or whatever, so you guys actually believe that I'm not just talking out my ass, that I'm actually showing you statistics and numbers. But the truth is, guys, it is the hardest thing for me to get to. Well, we did it today too, by the way. I was talking earlier in the video that I got 8K wrote on the board for a month in sales, and we hit 8K and some change, $8,049 in the past 31 days. So now that is going to get changed to 10. I'm going to go up $2,000 every single time. Just know, just because you have $8,000 in sales on eBay does not mean you put that in your pocket, okay? 5 or 6 or something like that will go in your pocket. Not even. Yeah, about 5K. But also, even out of that 5K, you think about how much of that's going in the back into the business to make it even bigger yet, right? I keep doing that. I keep expanding it because I'm sure there's going to be a point where I get to where, when we get to 20K a month or something like that, or even 30 or 40K a month, to where, okay, now it's time to live a little bit, right? But I'm still going to be investing a good portion of that money back into the company. Now, guys, I did that in under a year, and to be truthful with you, the first 6 months, I really wasn't being that consistent in listing items every day. Now, the way I am now, I list items every day. I don't care what is in the middle of it. I'm listing items. So once you get to that mindset and you start listing items every single day, your numbers can be up there to 8K a month, 10K a month, 20. I think I want to say daily refinement somewhere around 40K a month or 44,000 a month. And I used to be like, no way, dude. But really, truthfully, I know $30,000 seems like a very lot to anybody, right? $30,000 seems like a lot, but it's actually, if I had a few people like Chris from Daily Refinement had working for me with the system I got set up now, sure, I'd have to make another booth. Not a problem. Under $100, I make another booth, right? I could turn that 10K. I'm getting 10K out of myself, or 8K out of myself in a month. If I added another person, of course, they're not going to have the speed that I got right now, or they're not going to have all the know-how. But if they could just put me up to 14K a month, then what could another person on top of that do? And then another person on top of that do? You see what I'm saying? Like, you're doing it yourself. And if I had 3 more of me, I'd be at 24K a month, right? If I actually had 2 more people that knew exactly what I knew and knew exactly how I listed and exactly how I do my photography and exactly how I did my item descriptions, we'd be at 24K a month, right? Which that's what's going to be happening this coming year. I'm gonna try to stick it out this Q4 all on my own, which is going to take a lot because Q4, I don't know if you guys know, but in reselling, that's one of the resellers' best months is Q4 with the holidays. So my next goal is 10K in a month. And I remember Daily Refinement talking about that 10K on the bay, right? And I'm like, yeah, right, this dude is not going to get to 10K. I thought it was a lot harder than it's been. And I'm not lightening it up, and I'm not saying that it was easy, because it wasn't. Like I said, guys, there's many a times I wanted to walk out and just quit. But 10K in a month, now that I see it, just list. You can get there by listing 20, 25 items every single day. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't. I don't see why you can't get to 10K a month listing 20, 25 items a day. You'd be like, yeah, right. No, you're not going to get there your first month of listing that, so don't take that wrong. You're going to have to list like that every single day for quite some time, right? You're not just, eBay's just not going to say, okay, here's your first month, here's 10K. Not going to happen. You better list over 10,000 items if you want that to happen, right? No, not that much. But if you want to know how many items we got in the store too, we only have about, tonight I'll be at about 1,850 items in the store. So, I will tell you this. When I had 400 items in the store, remember I had 400 items, guys. I was saying I'm really going to pick up the pace on eBay, right? Like I set in my mind, I'm really going to do it. Let's get into this, right? And follow along. Well, that happened at 400. I went up to 600 pretty quick. Then I went 600 to 1,000 pretty quick. From 400 to 1,000 items in your inventory, your store changes a lot. You get a lot more sales, okay? And then from 1,000 to 1,500, once I got to 1,500 items in my store, it's a whole new game. It was a whole new ball game than it was at 400 items in my store. I'd be lucky if I was selling 3 to 7 items a day. At 1,500 items, or now almost 1,800 items in my store, it's, it's between 18 and 25 items a day. And I'm listing 35, so eventually it's going to keep increasing until I get till it catches up with me with the 35. Very seldom will you ever sell more than you list a day. Okay? I had at one time, because one customer bought it was a retarded amount. One customer bought 22 items. Okay, and then I had a whole bunch more sales on top of that. So like 40 or 50 sales in one day. That's the best we ever did in one day. But I'm shooting for the 10K now, guys. And it's not as hard as you think. You just have to believe that you are worth that. And you got to believe it's going to happen for you. Because if you believe it's not going to happen, I'm telling you, it's all a mental mindfuck game. That's all it is, guys. If you believe it's not going to happen for you, it's not going to happen for you. Well, what happens when you say, yeah, I couldn't get 10K in sales on eBay in a month? Well, then you're not going to put in the work. If you think you can't get there, you're never going to put in the amount of work that it takes to get there. That's the bottom line. If you believe you can become a millionaire, you can. You better start getting to work and just realize it's going to take a little while. It's going to take some time, guys. It just takes time. Have time. That's all you got. People are like, well, I don't got the time to do reselling. Then don't do it. It's that simple. I just don't got the time to list today. Then this is probably not the thing for you. And I'm not the guy to be a dickhead. I'm just the guy that gives it to you the way it is. Like, I don't try to sugarcoat anything. I don't try to be like, oh, it's okay you missed 5 days in a row of listing. No, you better find a different career, because if you're willing to miss 5 days of listing consecutive with no real excuse of why you did it, then reselling is not going to work out for you. This is a get in and stay in ball game. If you want to get into reselling and make decent money on it, you got to be in the game, man. You just got to be in the game. It becomes a lifestyle. This has become a lifestyle for me. This is what I do. I'm in this basement right here. I'm in my listing area more than I'm anywhere else 7 days a week. You know what I mean? And I got it set up to where I like it down here. It's comfortable. Yeah, I jam on YouTube. I'll listen to 50s, 60s rockabilly music. One day I'll listen to country. You know what I'm saying? So I listen to motivation. I keep my settings so I stay positive. Don't be in just a dark, nasty, gloomy room where, you know, there's no music or no nothing going on. Now, don't put something on that's so interesting that it takes your focus away from listing. Don't do that, because then it will do that. I've done that. Find a way to make it fun. Okay, nobody loves listing every single day, right? Like, I do it every day. But I'm not saying every single day am I just like, yippee, I'm so excited about listing items. It's not that. But I know what the reward comes from when you list items. That's the exciting part for me. Yep, if I get through this, my store keeps going up. If I get through this, my store keeps going up. If I get through this, my bank account rises. If I get through this, my bank account rises. I don't want to do an inventory system. That'll suck. That'll take time I don't have. Okay, then you're never going to find your items. You're going to get lost items. People are going to buy things. You're never going to be able to find it. I am telling you guys my story, okay? Because I did that. I just had big boxes with large on it, medium and small. And then when I sell an item, I'd go dig around and look for it. And I'm like, okay, forget it. I can't find it. Cancel the item. You know what that did to my last store? It demolished my, like, credibility on eBay. They're like, no, he says he's got it, but when he sells it, he can't find it. Don't do that. Take the time it takes to build an inventory system. Build your business. This is yours. Make it yours. Have fun with it. Right? Yeah, I guarantee you, my system looks different than Tech and Sport. Well, of course, because they're way more advanced, and they got bigger spots. But just because your space looks different than my space doesn't mean that you can't do it. You hear what I'm saying? Just because right now you might have less technology than what I got, or maybe you got more. I don't know. But just because all you have is a cell phone right now, that's where I started. I didn't have no fancy label printer, and I don't even think the thing's fancy. Actually, I think it's an eyesore sitting on my computer desk right there. I don't really like it there right now. I don't like it. Like, I didn't have that computer neither in the beginning. Like, I started with the bare minimum. You guys, I had $20. Okay, so to prove you can go from quadrupling your money of $20 in under a year's time, I'm the proof of it. I did it right here on this video, in this group, with you guys every single day. I make video content to show you guys that you can do it with nothing. You guys, I've had many of days where I didn't have a penny. I've had many days where I didn't have a penny and I didn't have inventory. 6 hours later, I got a whole car loaded of clothes. How did I did that? I humbled myself. I asked people, I need help. I started a business. Don't be afraid to humble yourself. Listen, a closed mouth won't get fed. A closed mouth won't get fed. Let people know what you're doing. Let people know what you're trying to build for your family. People will help you. I am telling you, people will. People are more than willing to help you. Look what they do for Goodwill. People dump tens of millions of dollars off at Goodwill a month in clothes. They're just willing to get rid of it. They don't want to do nothing with it. They just get rid of it. I don't want to post it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. I just want to get it out of my house, so they get rid of it, right? Dude, the sky is the limit in reselling. You could literally just be the next Goodwill. And trust me, Goodwills are doing good. Think about how your little business is doing at home, right? Say if I said 8K in a month, right? That was their number today. If you want verification, I'll go show you at the computer. 8K in a month. Imagine what if I'm down here in a little 2-room basement. Imagine what these Goodwills are doing that are the size of a freaking Walmart. That 8K they're doing in a day. That 8K they're doing in a day, guys, if not more. So, just humble yourself. Know you can do it. Never give up. And there's nothing different in a successful millionaire than there is in you. Nothing different, guys. They don't have some fancy little flipping brain chemistry up here that just made them an instant millionaire. It doesn't happen like that. If you want to get wealthy reselling, you can get wealthy reselling. If you want to get wealthy being a basketball player, you can get wealthy being a basketball player. If you want to get wealthy massaging people's skin, you can do that. Whatever you want to do in your life, well, this is a reselling channel, but whatever you really want to do in your life, you just believe you can become the next great thing and work like you're trying to become the next great thing, and you'll become the next great thing. It's literally that freaking simple, guys. People are like, that just sounded too easy. You just made that sound too easy because you don't understand what goes on in my head. Well, you don't understand what goes on in my head neither. Trust and believe, and you probably don't want to. Like, there's a whole lot of screws that are loose up there in mine. Okay, that wobble loose, and they'll talk to me in the morning and be like, oh, you're really not succeeding, Justin. You're that piece of shit from 10 years ago, drug addict, junkie. Go back to using. I hear shit like that in my head, so not like literally hear it, but I have thoughts still. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't act on them, and I keep going. I have thoughts right now, just going up and kicking back and watching a couple episodes with my fiance. But the truth is, I got to do it. I got to do this, and I'm doing it. I used to do it for everybody else too. I used to resell for everybody else. I want to do it so I can make everybody else happy with money. No, I want to do it for me too. You got to be doing this to make yourself happy. If you ain't doing it to make yourself happy, you're doing it all for the wrong reasons. Because if you can't be happy doing with what you're doing in life, you aren't going to be bringing any joy around anybody. I don't care how much shit you're buying them. That buying people shit and people think that's what causes happiness, it's a bunch of bullshit. You can have as much money as you want, and if you're a miserable motherfucker, you're going to bring misery to everybody in your household. That's the truth. So you got to ask yourself, you really got to do this shit for you first. Just like you got to love yourself before. I love hearing people say, I hate my life. I hate who I am. And this used to be me, guys, years ago. I hate who I am, but I love my girl so much. You cannot love anybody else if you don't love yourself. That is impossible. It's impossible. People are like, that's bullshit. I hate my life, but I love my kids. No. If you loved your kids, you would work on yourself more so you were happy so you could be bringing good to your kids, because you can't bring good to your kids if you hate life. But yeah, that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother platform, right? Guys, let's not talk about that. The truth is, guys, every one of you guys has the potential to walk off your 9 to 5, give your boss the finger, and do this for the rest of your life and be happy. Like, I'm serious. I make my schedule, guys. And this is not a brag at all. I list when the fuck I want to list. You hear these people like, you got to have a 6 to 3. I start listing at 6, I'm done at 3 every day. Fuck that shit. I list when I want to list. I do start at about 5 though, right? But if something comes up, I can start at 7 and still get my shit done. You know what I mean? Like my schedule is flexible. If my fiance needs something, let's go. I don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to ask your boss if you have the day off. There are so many benefits to being a reseller. I'm not trying to make it sound super simple, because trust me, again, guys, there was times I want to quit. But if you have the right mindset, you can do this shit. That's about what I got for you guys tonight. Love you guys all. It's your boy FlippinStoop.